Hi OJ. I have noticed a disturbing trend on social media and I feel compelled to share my own experience in the hope that it can serve as a warning to others. Every young girl should be educated and warned against traveling to Dubai with the intentions of finding wealthy men to provide for them or give them money. Recently, I lost a close friend and I strongly believe her death is linked to the traumatic experiences we endured in Dubai. Since her passing, OJ, I've often wondered how different our life might have been if we hadn't succumbed to peer pressure and ventured into the unknown. A few years ago, I attended a wedding and reconnected with an old friend and schoolmate, whom I will call Shantel for the purpose of this confession. She and I shared a dormitory in senior high school, and I knew her financial situation back then was dire. She was often sent home because she couldn't pay her school fees. But at the wedding, she was a very completely different person, driving a Mercedes Benz, wearing expensive clothes, and her skin tone had changed dramatically. I barely recognized her. She was the one who approached me, inviting me to join her and her friends at their table. After the wedding, we exchanged contacts and began communicating regularly, reminiscing about our old school days and catching up on life. Shantel had become an entrepreneur with multiple businesses, traveling the world frequently. I'll admit, I was a little envious of her success. At the time, I was unemployed despite having graduated from university with good grades, while Shantel, who had struggled academically, was thriving. I decided to look up to her as a mentor, hoping to learn from her. She recommended books, shared business ideas, and we became inseparable, like sisters. She even acted like a mother figure, always protecting me and looking out for the best of my interests. She knew all about my past and current relationship and frequently offered dating advices. One piece of advice that stuck with me was not to be overly emotional in relationship, but be logical and use what I have to get what I want. When I was having relationship troubles, she introduced me to one of her wealthy friends who pampered me. The relationship didn't last, but she kept introducing me to more rich men and gave me strategies on how to get them to spend more money on me. I eventually saved enough money to open my own shop and start a small business. But I still wasn't on her level. She was an excellent mentor, praising me when I did well and criticizing me when necessary. One day, she told me that if I wanted to make big money, I needed to upgrade from local sugar daddies to international ones. The idea sounded appealing. After getting a taste of easy money, I wanted more. She arranged for my passport and visas, and soon I was traveling the world. It is at this point that I'll ask that you subscribe to the channel, like, comment, and share this video, because that is the only way that you encourage me to bring you more stories and more confessions. Please subscribe. And don't miss out on the end of this story. Let's go. She would share my pictures with wealthy men abroad, and when one liked me, she would book a flight for us to meet. She assured me it wasn't prostitution. We were just making friends who took care of us. Sometimes I stayed at their homes or met them in hotels, and the length of my stay depended on how much they were willing to pay. The more they paid, the more I stayed. Most of these men weren't attractive, but I would close my eyes and do what I had to do. Some had strange fetishes, but none were too extreme for me to try. In the end, there was always a big pile of cash waiting for me, and Shantel would take her share for arranging everything, though I never knew how much she made. One day, she received a call from one of her contacts about a major deal. one of the biggest deals she had ever gotten. It involved a 3-day business conference in Dubai, and they needed girls to entertain the men during the event. Shantel quickly assembled a group of us, mostly Ghanaian girls, along with a few other Nigerians and Gambia. I was her protege. I was the first on the list. She briefed us, advising us to be of our best behavior and to comply with whatever the men wanted. The day of the conference arrived, and we were flown to Dubai. That weekend turned out to be the worst 3 days of our lives. There were 12 of us and about 30 men. They used us in ways I can hardly describe, both physically and emotionally. No matter how much we begged or screamed, they didn't stop. They took turns on us, passing us around like we were nothing. I wanted to quit, but I knew I wasn't going to get any money if I didn't see it through. By dawn, they started using us for their most degrading fantasies. 3 of us were dragged into the washroom and used as human toilets. This continued for all the 3 days, and some of the details are too graphic to even discuss. The trauma stayed with me for days afterwards. The saddest part is that when we were complaining, they just laughed at us and handed us money in the morning. There was nothing we could do but to take it and go home. When I returned to Ghana, I told Shantel about my ordeal. She dismissed it, saying it wasn't a big deal and that I should just forget about it. That was the last time I spoke to her, deleted her contact, and cut ties. None of what we went through was worth the money. Recently, one of our girls who was with us in Dubai passed away, and I attended her funeral. Listening to how she got sick and died, it's clear to me that the things we did caught up with her. Now, OJ, I fear for my own health and future. I want to urge young women not to compromise their values for money. It's not worth it. Eventually, we all have to face the consequences, and no amount of money can change that. Has it crossed your mind the kind of demands some pastors make in the name of deliverance? Click on this video.